As a young man, my job took me to some interesting places. Selling houses for a living, you never knew what you were going to encounter from one day to the next. From crumbling stone cottages and hidden down forgotten country lanes to derelict farmhouses perched upon lonely hillsides, I had seen and sold them all. The country I lived and worked in was one of rural poverty. Degrading villages full of broken families with troubled histories were scattered throughout the beautiful ancient woodland, lakes and fields that made up the region. The beautiful scenery masked the extreme human misery and suffering that existed within its borders. I experienced this misery and suffering to the fullest extent one could. Cold, dark, seemingly endless winter. Of all the houses in the area, none intrigued me as much as the old chapel, a 400-year-old building perched imposingly upon a heavy wooded cliff in the heart of the forest, overlooking a deep valley dotted with houses. The old chapel was a landmark familiar to all who lived nearby. It was also the subject of local legend. The legend told of a family who once lived in the old chapel many years ago, headed by a man named Tobias Cruikshank. Tobias was a devout Catholic whose relentless dedication to his faith forced him and his family to live apart from the rest of the community, whom he considered heretic. Tobias was also known for his wicked temper and would often take his anger out on his 3 young daughters in a most cruel and vicious manner, particularly his eldest Mary. The story goes that one evening the family were studying the Bible together by the fire when Mary, fed up with having the life of religious adherence forced upon her by her father, slammed her Bible down and proclaimed that she had renounced God. Tobias exploded with fury. Grabbing Mary by the hair, he shoved her face into the fire. Her cheeks blackened, her lips blistered and cracked. Her hair caught fire and created a dreadful stench that filled the room. She let out a sickening scream that was heard even by the villagers all the way down in the valley below. Tobias was so engulfed by his own rage, he didn't even notice that the hand he was holding Mary's head with had been horribly burned. That same night, Tobias banished Mary from the old chapel, allowing her only a white shawl for warmth and a small knife for protection. She was forced to live alone, as a disfigured pariah, who drifted aimlessly through the nearby woodlands and meadows for the rest of her days. Mary's mother and 2 sisters were found dead just days later by a local villager, their throats violently sliced open, eyes staring blankly into the sky, mouths twisted in horror. Tobias was never seen again.